Hey everybody, remember Whoopi Goldberg from the 80s, like Jumping Jack Flash? And remember that sitcom that you all loved in the 90s called Dinosaurs? Well, have we got the movie for you, and it's shit. Yep, so that movie that we're talking about is 1995's Theodore Rex starring Whoopi Goldberg and some dude in a costume.
I think you robbed the actual show Dinosaurs.
Yeah,
At least
pretty
the
much.
production team just was like, "Hey, we got all this leftover costume stuff. Let's make a movie, right?"
Yeah, this movie it's everything I was not hoping it would be. Like it's just awful. It's not even so bad it's good category. It's just bad.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
even a hey, get your pals together and let's laugh at a bad movie. It's just bad.
Yeah, it's
It's
it's it's a
bad.
slog to sit through,
Yeah.
even while drinking.
I was drinking and I was thinking, I don't know if this is going to help or not.
But okay, hold on. But real fast, this whole "it's bad, it's so bad, it's good" thing, you do know that's bullshit, right? Like that's literally
No,
just the
'cause I
alcohol
No.
talk.
No, because I enjoy doing that,
What?
and
What
and
movie?
I'll do it without alcohol. That's fine.
What movie? What name a movie that's so bad it's good?
Suburban
Butt crack.
Sasquatch.
Suburban Sasquatch is shit. What'd you say?
It
Butt
is.
crack?
Butt crack.
Looks like
Dolomite?
somebody's homemade commercial that failed. What'd you say?
Dolomite.
Okay,
Dolomite,
Dolomite
is
is good,
fantastic.
and
Like,
it
is a
It's a
bad
bad movie.
It
You,
is
you can
maybe.
you can
poorly
you can see the
produced.
boom
You can see the
operator
audio guy.
Okay.
in half of the movie.
You may have me with Dolomite.
They might have
I'm
well
with
put him
that.
in the
I'm with
credits
that.
as an actor.
He
Touche.
acts as an audio guy.
You may have me with Dolomite. Okay,
I mean, there's
so
a bunch of them.
Yeah.
talking about Theodore Rex, then I don't know.
Pee Wee's Playhouse meets Dinosaurs
Well, it's
meets
more like
Batman
Power Rangers.
Forever meets
Yeah,
Power
it
Rangers.
was like Power Rangers. Okay, so let me start off with good things. Let me start out
What?
with good things. I'm going to start
You
out with
got
good
good
things.
things?
thing?
Whoa.
Yep, I got some good
You
things.
tell.
Breaking
You
news.
found them.
Since we decided to go down shit lane, let me go ahead and start out the opposite of what I normally would do with some good things. The cast that they put together on paper, pretty impressive.
Decent.
You got Armin, what's his name? That guy, isn't he an Oscar winner?
The
The Kane,
Oh
the guy
yeah,
who played
Armin
Kane.
Mueller Stahl.
Stahl,
Yeah.
yeah, isn't he an Oscar winner? Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if he is.
and it's got Richard Roundtree.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
there's
Shaft.
He's actually pretty good.
there's actually like 2 or 3 like fairly impressive actors in this, and then Whoopi Goldberg, which I could take or leave, but whatever.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense.
She was famous like in that time period. It's like she was up there. She was Oscar winner.
Did she win an Oscar?
I
She
think
didn't
so.
win an
Like
Oscar.
the best supporting actress, I thought, for
Made in
is
America.
But well, Made in
No.
America was like early '90s. Sister Act 2, I
Sister
think, was
Act.
'92.
Oh, Sister Act. Yeah, I forgot about Sister Act.
that was
Okay.
around that time. So I mean, I think she won Oscars for that.
Wow. Okay. Well, again, on paper, the actors, the casting list, pretty fucking impressive. The second thing, even though the world does suck, they actually did a decent job of putting the world together. They actually had like quite a few thoughts going into like, okay, what would it look like if there's this, if all of a sudden dinosaurs are resurrected, not like Jurassic Park, but more like they're resurrected, they're brought back and almost immediately brought into our society. What would that
civilized.
look like? You know what I mean? And then there's the discrimination factor that takes place, etc. With the what they say, the fleshies
Oh,
versus the
are you-
scalies or some shit.
So the soft skins
Yeah.
versus
Soft skins.
scalies. What are
Yeah.
you being speciest?
You're not a speciest, are you?
Yes.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that was a great line.
I was.
Yeah.
That
I
line, I
chuckled.
was like, oh man, that's great. He's a dinosaur. Like, okay,
We
we
have
get
a
it.
dinosaur.
But
we
he's a
have a dino-
dinosaur. I'm
A
like,
dinosaur.
over
we get it. We've already established that.
5
But he's
times.
a dinosaur.
5 times she
I'm
says
like,
it.
oh
Yeah.
my god.
He's a dinosaur.
Come on, Coltrane. He graduated from the academy just like you did.
He's a dinosaur.
No, I mean, but again, the fact that they even bothered to put together the world the way they did, fairly impressed with that. I mean, again, it doesn't save this movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I was like, wow, they actually seem to spend a lot of money doing this. Like it didn't
Oh,
come
they spent a
across
lot of
as-
money.
Oh yeah,
Yes, they
Did they?
did.
How much did they spend?
$33.5 million.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
It is actually
Wow.
on record for its second place to be the most expensive movie that was initially slated to be released in theaters,
Yeah.
but went direct to video.
What was the first?
You had to ask me
It
that.
was
Jean-Claude Van
Legionnaire.
Damme's Legionnaire.
Legionnaire.
Legionnaire, yeah.
Oh, Legionnaire was pretty
1998.
good. Yeah, I remember
And
Legionnaire.
that was 35 million, and it was slated to be released in theaters, but it went direct to video as well.
Wait, Legionnaire or Lionheart?
Legionnaire.
Oh, I'm getting them confused because I never saw Legionnaire. Lionheart, he was a French Legionnaire who left, who like deserted to go to New York to
Sequel.
This
become
is
the
this
fight.
is that, but backwards. So
okay.
in Legionnaire,
Gotcha.
he's a boxer who doesn't take a dive, and the mob goes after him. So he goes to France and somehow gets press ganged into the army.
So it's literally the reverse of Lionheart. Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Pretty much.
Anyhow, yes, I mean, I hated Theodore Rex with a passion, but there's some good listen, I pointed out some good things. You can't say I'm a negative person all the fucking time. I actually
That
pointed
is
out
true.
something
That is
was
true.
good.
So
Thank you for your positivity.
Yes.
So let me dispel something real quick. Let me
Sure.
talk about Whoopi Goldberg's involvement in this because I think the story is interesting. So in 1992, the producer Theodore Rex approached her and she agreed to do the movie for $5 million, which $5 million back in 1992 is about $10.5 million today. So not a pretty bad pay
Chunk of
scale
change,
there.
huh? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
And that
plus
was
back end points on top of that.
and that
Okay.
was a verbal agreement.
That was a verbal agreement, yes.
Ooh.
So then we're not sure why, but all of a sudden she didn't want to do the picture. She stopped returning phone calls from the producers and all that. I'm assuming she read the script. And
He's a
then
dinosaur.
yeah,
Yeah, probably. Yep.
and basically the Italian investors of the movie started pressuring the two producers to sue her because she agreed to do the movie. But they didn't want to sue her, so the producers they Whoopi called one of the producers, basically saying, "Okay, I'm not gonna do the movie or whatever." But apparently, as he picked up, the answering machine also recorded the phone call. And basically, they had a long conversation, and she finally agreed to do the movie. Well, after that, that's when they decided that okay, they are going to sue her. And basically, the judge said, "Well, you're probably to Whoopi, you're probably going to lose this case, so you might want to settle." So she did settle with the production company, and they agreed to pay her $7 million. Plus lawyer fees. So it actually came out to be about $8 million to do Theodore Rex, which in today's money, just in case you're curious, is about $17 million.
Wow.
Jesus.
So I mean, she wasn't really like 100% pressured then. It actually sounds like she threw a hissy fit and somehow came out on top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if she she was going to take a loss if it was 5 million plus,
Yeah.
royalties or whatever. But this made absolutely probably nothing on royalties.
No, it went direct to video.
Yeah.
And I would even say on the back of her shit performance. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a horrible movie with a crap premise all around. But I mean, her acting, here's her acting at one point. She gets zapped. She's standing against the wall doing this.
No! Why?
For $8 million. I'll do this too. Money, please. Like, what the
Yeah, you'll pretend to be a cyborg and
It's
shimmy because
awful.
you're getting electrocuted. Okay.
It's
You
awful.
can definitely tell that her heart wasn't in the film. That's for sure.
Yeah, and
It's just-
knowing a little bit of that story and seeing some of her reactions to things, I'm thinking, I wonder if this is real. Like, this is just real Whoopi Goldberg just saying, "Are you kidding me? This is stupid," to these other people's lines, and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
I
Maybe her
mean, she
aggression's
hated
coming out.
for obvious reasons. She hated the producers and everything after that. and she apparently actors must have some kind of real power on sets, because she had like the several producers banned from
Wow.
from going to set. She actually fired her agent. She's like, "How dare you bring this to me?" and fired him, and they still aren't on speaking terms to this day.
Jeez.
I did hear that the majority of the crew was leaving during production too.
Yeah,
Like according to Whoopi, the last day of filming, 99% of the crew were all new by the by the start of the movie. They had all been changed over.
Wow.
Jesus.
But getting back to the movie, one of the most annoying things in this entire movie to me were the bad guys
Yes.
in this. Like whoever said
And
Power Rangers.
the ringleader of the bad guys, right? Not necessarily the
Yeah,
cool
the
guy
underling one.
in the duster, but the underling is like, no.
That's
They're
Bud.
super
That's
Here's
annoying.
what
Bud Cort.
sucks. That's Bud Cort from Harold and Maude.
Yeah.
yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yes, it
Mhm.
is. Another
Holy
another
cow.
pretty high end actor, actually. I'm like, holy shit! Like that's another
He
guy
was
that they got in this movie. That
Terrible in this.
I mean,
I
again,
mean,
if the script's awful, what are you
to
gonna
be
do?
that way? I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Put your finger out of your nose. Spin it.
Yes, Mr. Edge.
Listen, I'm gonna give you toads a shot at redemption.
Redemption?
You, shut up! Listen, I want you to keep your beady eye on the gun and the Rex. Look, but don't touch.
Whatever you say, sir.
Good.
These guys had dreads and like face masks, whereas the Power Ranger guys, the what are they called, the putties or something like that, are all just like
Yeah, I
gray
remember those. Yeah.
mud guys. Yeah, these guys had dreads and whatnot. And you know what this movie had me doing though. So I started thinking about, because I had a lot of time to think during this movie because it was horrible. I started thinking about other movies that had. First, I jumped to other movies that had like animatronic or talking dinosaurs of some kind, and I went straight to 1994's The Flintstones, right, with
Mhm.
John
Yeah.
Goodman, Rick
John Goodman,
Moranis, Halle Berry, right, etc. And I was like, that movie wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was definitely better than this, right? What did they do that was so much better in The Flintstones that they didn't do in this movie? And I
Right.
couldn't
Wrote a
quite,
script
but I think the
that
script
made
was part
sense.
of it. Yeah, I think the script was part of it. But I think the other piece about it was they didn't try to like overly. I don't know. I felt like they overdid the. We're gonna normalize dinosaurs in this world. Like we're gonna go full for it. Like they went too
Yeah,
far.
because I mean, the Flintstones, I think it was one big dinosaur kind of crosses the road, and they're like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" Like, "Oh, hey,
Well, but
not
Dino
much."
Dino lives in the movie. I mean, he's
Oh
alive
yeah,
in the
yeah,
movie.
yeah, yeah.
Well, they had a more cohesive plot. This didn't make sense to me. Like you have a bad guy who brings dinosaurs back, from extinction just
Yeah.
to want to kill them again, or to kill everybody again. Like,
Not kill them. He wants to let them live. He wants to kill all of humanity to let them live.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
all
almost reminded me of like an Austin Powers type evil dude. He's like, I'm gonna launch this rocket and it's gonna create this ice
Yeah.
age, and and it just looks like a big dick flying across a radar screen or something.
Mhm.
There's a big Johnson. Yeah.
John, what were you trying to say, bro?
Can't top that, can
Okay.
you?
So I agree
No.
with you. Here's the problem with the script that I think took place. Because again, I agree with you. I was thinking about the Flintstones. I was like, why was it so much better? The Flintstones, I think, had a better plot, but even their subplots in the Flintstones were more cohesive and made sense. The
Mhm.
subplots in this, they didn't have any. So what they
No.
ended up doing was like diverting into, well, it'd be funny is that the dinosaur was standing on some kind of like holographic clothes thing, and we just switch
Oh
him
my
out, and then he just
God.
says stupid lines every couple minutes.
Ella, this is not undercover. Push the button. Ella, undercover. Por favor, please. Oh, kala, shaka, undercover. Now! Mahalo!
Ella. He's a cop. You gotta make him look like a real cop.
Wait a minute.
Ella.
I'm getting a wee bit of breeze in my lowlands, lassie. Work with me, will ya?
Or what would be funny is a dance number right here. Or what'd be funny is, I mean, it made there was no attempt to have subplots. It was just, okay, well, we have some free time. This bitch has to be a feature. Right now, we're clocking in at 42 minutes. Let's come up with some extra stuff and stick it in the movie.
Yeah, it was definitely
Cool.
a movie that was written around the trailer. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like they made the trailer first, and then they're like, "Oh wait, how do we make this a story?"
The problem
Type
here
thing.
is you had the writer
Yeah.
who wrote it, who had strong feelings of I wrote it, I should direct it,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was rewriting it while he was directing it.
Mm,
So
probably.
if you've got a writer who obviously doesn't like his stuff because he's changing it while directing the film,
Yeah.
you have started and ended wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hear you. Well, and okay,
Well-
so after the Flintstones, because I'm with you, John. After the Flintstones, I started thinking about movies that were like this movie somewhat that I did like Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck. I'm sorry, I know I saw it when I was a kid, but it's fucking fantastic. I can still watch it
It's
today.
kind of universally hated though.
I don't care. I still like it. I watch it and I like it. I like the part where he's being strip searched and they're like, there's no strings or zippers, and he's like, and he's got this face. I don't know. I like it.
Produced by George Lucas.
I mean,
that's the difference though, and it's got a solid plot. There's no extraneous shit in Howard the Duck. It's straightforward, duck out of water, and he saves the world. Like
Well,
that's the fucking premise.
Yeah, and the other thing that's about Theodore Rex is like the forced characterizations of like 3/4 of the way through the movie, she tries to give him a gun and he goes, no, I don't believe in violence. But then literally the next scene, he's about to kill a fellow police officer for not renting him a car.
Mhm.
Like in literally the very next scene.
Yeah.
And it just it comes from out of nowhere, like his moral ground on that. We don't see that build up anywhere in the movie.
Yeah.
And then they tried to kind of couple that together and wrap it up within 5 minutes, and it
Mhm.
just doesn't work.
Well, I agree with you, and it goes further when they try to have more of their anti-gun sentiment when Whoopi Goldberg wants to give him the gun, or excuse
Right,
me, whenever
yeah.
he wants the gun later on.
Give me your gun.
I can't.
What?
I can't.
Katie, give me your gun. This is no
No,
time to play
Teddy,
around.
listen.
Give me it.
You might have been right. It kills me to say this. You might have been right. Use something a little better than a gun.
No, Katie, look. All this time you've been telling me a good cop uses a gun, right? So what are you telling me now?
I was wrong. Your brain. Use your brain.
Your mind, or whatever the fuck she
Didn't
says. And I'm
dinosaurs have like
like
peanut-sized
the
brains?
smallest brains ever, especially the T-Rex.
Well, these
Yeah.
talk. These are talking dinosaurs. I imagine that they've jumped the shark on the brain
by
size
a
thing.
German scientist.
I'm just saying, it was very like forced. Forced is a great word for it. You know what I mean?
I definitely believe that this tried to ride the coattails of the TV sitcom Dinosaurs.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
think?
Oh yeah,
But there were no
Oh, yeah.
humans in dinosaurs, were there? They were all cavemen.
No, they were all. I think they were all dinosaurs. From what I
Yeah,
remember.
they
No,
were
what did-
dinosaurs. Well, no,
didn't they-
there were humans, but they were like cavemen. They were dumb.
Yeah, they had a
Oh, okay.
caveman. They had a pet caveman. Yeah.
I was very small at the time. I was very little, but I do remember watching it though,
Yeah.
and noticing that this ended. Yeah, this ended in '94, and then hey, Theodore Rex '95. I'm like, oh, it's literally like they just robbed the costumes from that area and just used it in this one.
I did come across a user submitted review on IMDb that I really like. There's a it's great. I mean, it's just a couple of lines from it from Le Gremlin back in 2000. I would give anything within reason to know what crackhead said, "Hey, let's remake Blade Runner with Barney in the Harrison Ford role," and decided it was a good idea to actually spend the time and money to commit to the film.
That's not far fetched. The Blade Runner
not.
piece is a little bit of a stretch. I would
Yeah.
say it's more like a James Bond film. I'm kind of with Kyle on the Bond villain
Well,
premise.
the
of-
Austin Powers Bond villain type.
Well,
or
I mean,
Austin Powers villain.
yeah.
That's how stupid it was.
Anyhow,
yeah.
all you need to know is that you should only expose yourself to this monstrosity if you're one of the 5 or 6 rabid fans of Howard the Duck.
Nice.
Okay. Wow.
I like Howard the Duck.
Aw.
And you get to see a lot of Leah Thompson in Howard the Duck. Just saying. It's a lot of Leah Thompson. But okay. let me just say this too. Howard the Duck is another one that on paper should work. Well, you said written, was it written or directed by George Lucas?
It was produced.
Produced by George Lucas, Leah Thompson, Tim Robbins. I mean, on paper, again, should be pretty successful. I mean, I don't know. I thought it did okay for what it was. Then again, I was like 6 when it came out.
True.
I liked it
Well,
the first
Justin,
time all the way through the last.
This was your movie.
Ugh.
So,
Yeah.
By the way,
let's,
do we all agree we're going to stone Justin after this show? Like we're just going to pelt him with large rocks and
no,
boulders?
I would say this would be a valiant effort to find another cult classic, type, not necessarily a cult classic, but more like a, hey, let's get around and, drink a lot of beers and
watch
laugh.
a bad movie. Yeah, that's exactly what this was. I've never seen it. I've heard about it. It's like one of those like movies that have like a legend behind it, and so I was kind of curious. That's all.
Last chance. Who bought the butter?
Yep.
Cult
And it
classic.
failed poorly.
Ugh.
I chose
Miserably.
poorly.
Yes. So what say you, sir?
So I'm gonna give this a 0.3.
Wow.
So Eddie, yeah.
0.2.
Okay, and then Kyle,
0.1.
John,
0.
Theodore Rex from 1995 gets a 0.2.
0.2. Wow.
Well, that does it for us. And Theodore Rex, put that away in the vault of Never Watch Again.
Yes.
I'm down with that. Patreon members, thank you for being a Patreon. You saw us get the spin for next week's movie. I think this is the last round of spending for this month for season 6. So that means we all got back on the board, and it basically got landed on Kyle. And what was your genre?
Western.
And what'd you pick?
I got Silverado in the bag here. So
Desperado.
No, Silverado.
Oh,
not Desperado.
Silverado.
This isn't a Desperado. This is all about silver. No, Silverado, 1985.
So join us next Saturday. We will be reviewing 1985 Silverado. See ya.
See ya.